classes, and yeah.
Okay, ladies, 1 second. It says it's setting up, so let's see what happens. Okay. Okay. Good morning. This is Jackie Harunian of Wisselman, Harunian and Associates. And I'm very happy to invite all of you that are watching to our Chat and Chill series. And today we have two wonderful ladies that are here that are going to be participating in a conversation. As many of you know, I'm a partner at Wisselman, Harunian and Associates, and we're in Great Neck, and we're a family law firm. And the inspiration for Chat and Chill came from this idea that we're all staying at home, and we're all going out of our minds. So that's what's happening with me anyway. And for women and men that are stuck at home in this pandemic, dealing with homeschooling their children, working from home, very anxious about what's going on in the world, in their own personal space, with their family relationships, with their jobs, and most importantly, their health. I felt that there was a need to really have a casual conversation with other experts that I know and admire so we can all stay connected on social media, hang out with each other with a cup of coffee. And today I also have my essential oils because I'm ready to talk with Carla. And I also like to support other entrepreneurs. And Dalia and Carla, who you're going to hear from this morning, are two wonderful, very hardworking entrepreneurs. And when I approached them about joining me today, they right away said yes. And they have a lot of very interesting, very timely things to talk about to stay sane and mindful in the home, and also to make the home a sanctuary that you'll actually want to stay in. Because let's face it, we're all going to be at home, staying at home for the foreseeable future. So my law firm, Wisselman, Harunian and Associates, has also done a series of a little bit more substantive legal seminars. And I just want to mention them briefly because I want to invite all of you to register on Zoom or send me an email if you want to be involved with those legal seminars. And we've had a number already. A couple of weeks ago, when the pandemic first started, I partnered with Karen Birnbaum, who's an amazing estate planning attorney. And we had a webinar. We're doing another one at the end of the month on April 29th with the Bar Association. So if you're an attorney and you want to hear about smart planning in an upside down world, that's the title of that webinar. Please let me know and I'll let you know how to get involved. We've also had this past week a webinar with two sexologists about sexual issues in relationships and how they impact on men and women in relationships and how that enters legal issues upon marital dissolution. In the next few weeks, I have these Chat and Chill webinars set up. Next week, we're going to have an amazing pairing, Isabel Hakim, who's a parenting expert. She's going to talk about attachment parenting and how we can all cope better with our children and have more harmonious relationships at home. And with her, I've invited Ronit Rozhedzinski from Women and Wealth Solutions. She's going to talk about financial issues that really affect all women, single, married, and divorced, how we can be a little bit more proactive as women in managing our household finances. I think you're both going to love hearing from Ronit and Isabel next week. So watch this space for next Wednesday. I also have some other things coming up. So if you want to know more about the substantive legal topics, I'm partnering with Leslie Tain for the Bar Association, for the New York Boutique Lawyers Group. We're going to be talking about personal finance. My friend who's a mediator, Michelle Kernrapi in New York Supreme Court, she's going to be talking about ADR mediation. That's coming up later in May and June. And we also have, I'm very excited about Natalie Alicia Gold. She's an estate planning attorney as well. She's going to be speaking about financial empowerment for women on May 8th. You definitely don't want to miss that. So I would like to now tell you about the issue in general of co-parenting in captivity. That's what I call it. Co-parenting in captivity really has to do with the fact that all of us, whether we are single, married, or divorced, if we have children, we have to communicate with the other people in our children's lives. We have to communicate respectfully. We have to communicate in a way that's geared towards resolving issues. I will admit that I'm not always perfect in that regard. I'm now sheltering at place in home with my 4 children. Some of them are adults, have moved back in with me, and that's great, but I'm not going to say that there isn't conflict. So we have to be open about it and find ways to deal with conflict, whether with it's an ex or with teenagers or anyone else. And we have to do it in a way that avoids escalating to the point where the police get involved, or there's violence in the home, or just dysfunctional ways of dealing with these issues that are coming up. So when I thought about co-parenting in captivity, it really made me think of, as I mentioned, how to make the house a more peaceful place and how to make our own sanity a little bit more mindful. And so we can have coping mechanisms. So I'm now going to introduce Carla Trigo. Carla is a wellness expert. She's going to tell you a little bit about herself. And Carla has multiple degrees. She's very intelligent. She's bilingual, has tremendous empathy. And she's going to tell us a little bit about some of the coping mechanisms that maybe we can benefit from sheltering in place. So without further ado, my friend, very well esteemed professional colleague, Carla Trigo.
Wow, thank you very much, Jackie, for this space and this platform, for having us today in this beautiful moment. I think beautiful because these give us a little bit of more hope and connectivity instead of hugging right now, right? So first of all, I want to tell to all your audience, thank you as well, and all my love to you, because I know that we have an incredible uncertainty and stress levels, anxiety. As women, we are suffering more than usual just because we are very responsible about so many other things that is in part is part of our lives, right? And as the nature of the lady nature, we are holding many other things that most of the people doesn't see it. So all my love to you is go in these moments of tension. As you see, I have an accent. So I'm originally from Spain, even though I live in Israel as well, like more than 10 years. I moved to the States around 8 years ago to New York. And I have to say that the beginning was not easy at all for many things. Actually, the accents, actually, the language was a little bit complicated. And this gave me a huge background of survival, right? And tools to be able to be successful as well. So I am ND. I am a naturopathic doctor in my back. Also, I study holistic psychology to understand how the brain works and how the subconscious mind works and how we can really be in balance, not only the body, but as well the mind, the soul, the spirit, and how we can co-create together with the beautiful strength and skills, talents as women we do have. And this gave me an incredible sight and compassion and inner sight about who you are and who you are becoming, right, in this process of growth, and as well how we can interact with the tools that we have to be better persons and to create greatness and to be excellence in whatever we do. And sometimes it's not easy. And for sure, right now, it's not easy at all. Not only because the situation is completely unknown and the uncertainty levels creates a lot of doubt and problematic about how we are related to other people, how we are related to our partners, how we are related even to ourselves or kids at home. And this is not easy at all. So what I wanted to share with you today is some of the things that I do with my group of ladies. Not only I use tools that are very vibrational, sorry about my dog, that are very vibrationals, right? Like essential oils, because as you know, for example, essential oils works in the emotional levels. And this is one of the expertise that if we understand how the brain works and how emotions works, we are going to address much better and beautiful the threats and some triggers that we do have. So this is one of the things that I love the most because we can have in our hands beautiful tools that will help with the daily basis threats that is coming to us, right? So it's not only about how we are facing, but as well how we are maintaining ourselves in this alignment. So I'm going to share some of the things. One of the things that is very important that we forgot normally and we're forgetting all the time is the self-care. We are always giving and always thinking about others, and we are always putting ourselves on the last part of the line, and we're going to be more successful not only in business but as well in your relationship with yourself if you think about how I can be in stillness, right? How I can build these new habits that is going to create more energy, that is going to create more positive side about the things that is coming to us. So self-care is one of the things that are crucial for us to maintain. And when we are putting that beautiful intentionality of the living, right? The other things are coming in a very easy way. And I'm saying that because self-care is not only about your body, it's also how you are thinking, the process of the mind is how you create your thinking process, right? We all have incredible circumstances, sometimes are very sad and very stressful. In those circumstances, what is going to happen is going to create a process of thinking. And those thinking process or these thoughts are going to create the emotions, right? And result in that feeling process that for sure is going to lead to be active or inactive and the results that you have in the daily basis. But if you create like a kind of new habits where you put yourself first, you are just analyzing the type of intentions that you desire for that moment. You can visualize how you're going to be more proactive instead to be reactive. And this is something that we need to master because those tensions and those moments give us a little bit out of this alignment, right? So if we can be more proactive and we can apply this kind of new habits, you're going to have incredible different results. And it's crucial because we are creators. As ladies, we have the potentiality of being very creative in our exposures, in the results that we desire in our business, even in our relationships. And we have this power in within us. And not only is crucial for maintain our sanity, but as well, if you understand how this works and the energetic compound, because it's all related to physics as well, right? And chemistry, we can understand better why we do have, for example, the same results
So,
every day,
so
right?
Carla, you
Yes,
mentioned daily habits, and I
yes,
mentioned, I think Dalia and I have our essential oils ready because as I mentioned to you before,
yeah,
um, because one of the things that was in the news that you lose your sense of smell and taste if you have the virus. I have made it a daily habit.
mm-hmm.
Maybe it's not so healthy anymore to really smell my essential oils pretty much
Yes,
throughout the day. And I have lavender, and it has become a good habit for me. I really do try to
I
take
love it.
myself back to if I'm feeling stressed, if my client is stressed. I have a lot of people calling every day that are very worried about their own personal situations, and the court system is pretty much shut down at this point. So
Yes.
lots of people are calling. And so to deal with their stress, I have to cope with my own stress. Can you give us an example
Mm-hmm.
just in terms of daily habits that we can all incorporate into our lives starting right now?
Yes.
Maybe give us a few different.
Absolutely. For sure, the essential oils, I will give you some of the tips and I can send some samples. Whoever is your audience will love, I will send some things for them to try. But for example, what I'm doing, I want to share what I'm doing, right? When I wake
Oh,
up,
that's so nice.
yes, I wake up
Fabulous.
early in the morning because I am early bird lady, but at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm awake. And the reason is because I'm doing my devotions or my reading, spiritual reading or something that is nourish my heart, my soul. I'm starting positive. And when you start positive, right, and you are grateful for the things that you have and you celebrate them, this is something that the ladies we need to incorporate. I'm celebrating life. I'm celebrating, thank you, and I'm here. And after I'm going to my devotions, I write it down how I want to see my day. And from there, I have 2 healthy habits that I'm doing. I always use peppermint oil, because peppermint oil, when you put it in the roof of the mouth, for example, is open your clarity thinking process. It's going to give you the alignment that you need to be more proactive as well. I do as well my warm water with lemon in the morning, and I put it, you can squeeze lemon, or you can put some essential oils, some drops. And the reason is because when your body is alkaline, right, you're going to reduce the acidity inside yourself, and illnesses are going to be more, they're going to think twice instead to be inside. So alkaline body is better for anything else. And also I'm doing oil pulling. I don't know if you what it is, but you can buy coconut oil and just gargle it a little bit in your mouth. And the reason is because normally we do have bad bacteria in our mouth when we wake up, right? So when we pull out all the bad bacteria from your mouth, your digestion process is going to be absolutely amazing. That means the immune system is going to be more strong, and you're going to provide with the tools in a very easy way to strengthen your immune system. And after that, I'm doing of course, a breakfast or something that nourish my body, because we have to take care about ourselves. Our body is our carrier. And without a strong body and honor our sacred space, right? Dalia is going to speak about the sacred space of the homes and the sanctuary of the homes. We have an incredible sacred space. This is our body and our brain as well, and we can use it for greatness. And we have to take care about that with this self-care that I said it, and self-love. And as we go, if we have positive or negative thinking process, or we are very intense and in stress levels, this means that you are vibrating in a very low frequency. So I'm not going to get in detail, but the thing is, stop for 1 second. When you're trapped in these moments of tension, anger, frustration, sadness, stop, right? Stop, create a little bit that space. Nature help us to give us a little bit of back to nature, and put your focus and your thinking process into something that you love, into something that is positive, in self-love, and something that you think that is the best for you, right? And analyze why you were tense. This is my thing or someone else's things, right? So start to write these kind of things. Yeah.
Thank you very, very much. I think you can probably do a
Oh,
whole hour just
I know. I'm
on
sorry.
essential oils. And I just want to give a recap, because like every good nerd, I'm taking notes here. And I thank you, first of all, for
Thank you.
inviting everyone to contact you. You offer to give samples of essential oils. So this is where I really vouch for my friends and my friend Carla Trigo. She's a very generous person. She will work with you. She will partner with you. If you have a business or you need some help, contact her. You'll find her on Facebook. Her page is full of wonderful advice and very beautiful imagery that I definitely check in on a regular basis, because I more or less live on Facebook half the day. I'm going to give just a little recap of some of the tips that Carla gave us. She mentioned starting every day early with devotions, which I take to be some sort of spiritual affirmation, some form of prayer, maybe not a religious prayer, but some sort of positive devotional. And I think a lot of us can connect with that. You mentioned writing things down in a journal, starting the day with positive thoughts and positive intentions and writing it down. You mentioned essential oils, drinking warm water with lemon. You mentioned oil pulling, which I haven't tried and I'm planning to try. You mentioned breakfast, having a good breakfast, making sure that you're taking care of your physical health and eating the right things. And I'm sure there's a lot of advice that you can share with that. And finally, you said that when you are in a moment of high stress, that you should try to shift your thoughts in a positive direction, and to do that in a way that's very intentional and in the moment. I'm sure I missed a couple of things, but I want to invite everyone to connect with Carla on Facebook. If you're on the Zoom webinar, you can leave me your email address and we'll make sure that you get any follow-up handouts from me or our speakers today or at any time. So now it's time to shift to our next speaker, who is an amazing woman, who I really, really admire, and is a personal friend as well as a real professional in her field. And that's Dalia Ellison. Many of you watching on Facebook know her. And we've done speaking together before. And we all think how long this pandemic is going to last. Um, I know a lot of my clients that are going through separation and divorce are always obsessed with the value of their home and selling their home and whether they can afford to keep their home. And now all of us are having those same exact thoughts, whether you're going through a family crisis or not. The home, the marital residence, where you live, whether you can afford to pay your rent, whether you can afford to pay your mortgage, whether you need to move, or whether you can make your home a little bit more of a place that you can actually connect with family that you're stuck at home with. I know Dalia has expertise to share on all of these topics. And we are all very much in the same boat. I just want to make one legal point regarding rent and mortgage payments. As of today, and I'm speaking to you on April 22nd, there really are no laws regarding rent and foreclosure and mortgages. There's been no real relief offered, except that right now there's sort of a hold on landlord-tenant proceedings. The courts are closed. And a lot of mortgage banks are working with people regarding forbearance on their loans and maybe restructuring loans. And so that's not really causing a lot of peace of mind for a lot of my clients that I speak to. They really are very distressed about their inability to pay rent. And the statistics that I've been following are that in March, only 70% of people were paying their rent by the end of March. And by April, that is now in the low 60%. And probably in the next months, that number will go down. And we all know once tenants stop paying their rent, that affects landlords. And that's going to affect the ability of municipalities to run their cities because we're not going to have property taxes paid. So many disturbing ripple effects. But just in terms of the legal aspect, there really is not much out there right now to really protect renters or landowners. So other than just to kind of hang in there, because I'm sure that relief will be coming at some point. So now, Dalia, please introduce yourself and we can continue this conversation. It is now 11:26. Thanks, Dalia.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you for creating this beautiful space for us to get together and try to bring some comfort to each other at this time of uncertainty. And Carla, your advice is amazing. It is wonderful to listen to you and get a sense of peace about our future and about where we are at this time in our lives. So my name is Dalia Ellison. I have been in real estate for the past 15 years and in new construction for the past 20 years. My passion is all about serving people, to be there for them. Those people who are connected with me know that I don't just offer real estate services. I offer myself as a person, as a friend, as a confidant, and I'm always there for each and every one of my clients and friends. So I invite and encourage every one of you, if you would like to get some more direction or some peace of mind about today's market and what we are seeing or we are expecting for the future, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to connect with you and just chat with you. So with all that said, I hope everybody is healthy, which is the most important thing, and everybody is staying safe and sane. We are going through a lot of changes in life. Some of them are going to stay for good. Some of them will never change. Just like after 9/11, there was a lot of safety precautions taken. For example, we needed to take our shoes off when we walked in the airport. Who would have ever thought such a thing is going to become a thing of the norm? At the beginning, the adjustment was not easy, but now we all do it and we all appreciate that safety factor. So whatever change this whole new revolution is bringing, this whole pandemic is bringing, it will eventually settle down and will move our lives into a better direction. It always does. Right now, there is a lot of uncertainty. It is totally understandable. People don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, and everybody is in a standstill with their decisions for their future, which is totally understandable. But one thing that I have noticed, and I'm sure Carla and Jackie, you have also noticed it, and I could share my own experience, is this process, as frustrating as it may be, it is also a healing experience. We have time to reflect, and we have time to actually sit down and reevaluate the way we think about our homes. Whereas before, our home was a place to take a shower, to sleep and eat and rush out of the house. These days, we are seeing it as our sanctuary. We are seeing it as a place that could bring in a lot of bonding between you and your loved ones, your children. Everybody has more time. Everybody is able to sit down and connect with you and think and reflect with you where you want to go in the future. So home is taking a totally different place, whereas before it was not as important. Another thing that we are noticing is that those people who have been working, thankfully, virtually from home are beginning to wonder, maybe this will be a thing of the future. Perhaps those of us who do not need to physically be out there in the workforce, home is going to be a good space, and virtual working will be a thing of the future for us to have more balance. We'll have more time to be with our loved ones. We don't have to waste the time commuting. We don't have to waste the money with the commuting. We'll get our work done, and we'll be able to spend more time at home. So there will be a big shift in the search criteria of people. People will eventually, let's say if they were looking for a 3-bedroom home before, now they're going to be saying, okay, I need to find a house with 3 bedrooms and a home office. That will become a permanent thing for the search criteria of people. And as the days go by more and more, I'm seeing that reflective thought in people's minds. Again, obviously, nobody is going to jump into any kind of a decision with real estate market at the moment. People don't know where it's going to take us. However, what I have seen, especially in the past 48 hours, is that people are getting a little agitated. They do want to get back to their normal lives. So even though we are physically not able to do that, they are trying to mentally and emotionally get into that space so they would be ready when it's time to move out of the homes. So as I mentioned, home office will be something to probably stay for good. Another thing is, so that people are able to enjoy their lives without being interrupted, is seeing a gym at your home. That will become more and more the norm. Whereas at one point, having a home gym may have been just a commodity. We're going to see that being implemented in the search criteria. Perhaps for some people, it will be the home theater or a pool. Anything that will enhance your lifestyle without needing to leave your home will become a part of our lifestyles and a part of our search criteria. Now, moving on to where real estate is headed. Obviously, I don't want to get into a heavy discussion because none of us know what is going to happen. But what I can see from my own experience is when Governor Cuomo issued the lockdown in place, that was about five and a half weeks ago. Within 24 hours, we had a huge surge of New York City residents who moved to Long Island, to the suburbs. They either through us helping them through Airbnb or through month-to-month rental space, we were able to accommodate housing for them. And it was going to be a temporary housing in the suburbs, so they would not be in New York City. And then they were going to go back to their normal lives. Now, fast forward after all these weeks, I am seeing many of them thinking twice about their lifestyles and whether they do want to go back and live in New York City. My clients, new and elder ones, older clients who were in New York City are telling me that they would love to move to Long Island. Now they have started to looked at the possibility of finding home in Long Island, less pollution, more space, perhaps a backyard space for the kids to run around. So that will shift the market into a better place. It will not be as if, okay, it's all doom and gloom and real estate is going to fall apart. No, we will be expecting activities to happen. And that will be a very big aspect of that. I have clients who were almost about to buy a home, a space in New York City, and now they're looking here. So with that said, real estate is not going to go down. There will be some shifting to take place, which is the norm and it's obvious, but it will continue working. At the beginning of the year, we were expecting an amazing spring real estate market. And now with the shift, there are two different scenarios. Some people say it will be a V-shaped scenario where the prices get decreased dramatically with a sudden drop. And towards the end of fall, we're going to see a huge surge of numbers and activities going back up right away. And some other people are saying that it will be more of a U shape, a gradual lowering of the numbers and a gradual comeback of the prices. So either way, there will be activity happening, especially since we have such low interest rates. It would be a shame for those of us who are able to afford a home, whether it's our first home or whether it's a change for a upgrade home. It would be a shame not to take advantage of this situation. We will also have, and I'm seeing it myself right now, a lot of sellers who were toying with the idea of maybe moving to the Carolina, South Carolina, North Carolina, or Florida in a few years. And with this pandemic, they're beginning to realize life is too short. We cannot keep thinking that one day I'll have that and one day I'll be there. They're starting to think this is time for me to move, and they want to put their homes on the market and sell and move on to an easier and less hectic lifestyle. So all that activity is going to bring back a lot of real estate shifts in the market. And between people wanting to find some comfort within their homes, considering their home more of a sanctuary than before, we are going to see a very interesting shift that will take place, and it will move us to what is known right now as a virtual experience. And looking at homes is going to turn perhaps not 100%, but 80% virtual. The way I see it, people are not going to waste their times going from one home to another over the weekends just to see the house in an open house. It's going to shift to a virtual tour. One of the tools I'm offering my homeowners right now is we do a Matterport, which is a 3D tour. And what that does is if you're sitting behind the computer, instead of walking physically inside the space of that property, you're going to be able to walk it with your mouse. You're going to be able to move into a room and come out, make a left, make a right, and actually experience that house. And with that, people will more and more do that, eliminate those homes that are not worth seeing because it's not matching their search criteria, and just focus on the few that feels like home. Can you imagine how much time and energy this is going to save people? And we are definitely headed in that direction. This will become the norm. It will take a while for people to get used to that, but it will be happening. And again, in the past 48 hours, my inquiries has been more than it had been in the previous 5 weeks since the lockdown in place. People are thinking, people are hoping, people are starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I think it's a wonderful place to be at. We still have perhaps a long way to go, but hope is what keeps us going. And the self-care, as you mentioned, Carla, will definitely be extremely helpful and wonderful for us to implement in our daily lives. And little by little, as the saying goes these days, we are all in it together. And together we'll be able to help each other, to lift each other, and to move forward with life, and hopefully for better days to come.
Wow. Wow. All right. So, Dalia, every time I hear you speak, first of all, I learned so much from you, and so much of what you said, I'm going to be able to now transmit to my clients and people that I interact with. Because I have to tell you, before I spoke with you, I definitely had a little bit more of a pessimistic view of what might be going on. And I know why you're at the top of your game as a professional in real estate, because you really have a very intuitive sense of what drives the market and what it comes really down to. So I'm going to give a little bit of a recap of what I took away from it, my takeaways, and please correct me if I missed anything. But you mentioned that this is now a time where people are spending more time at home and they are reflecting more. People have more time to reflect, and they are reevaluating the function of their home. It's not just a place to sleep and eat and then run to work. People are finding more balance, and they want to stay at home. And the reality is more of us are going to be working from home because there is more technology and virtual things going on. And I can just give you an example in the legal world. We are now having virtual court conferences. It's very likely we're not going to be going back and forth to courthouses, not anytime soon. And this is going to take hold of how lawyers practice, how real estate transactions even take place. They're probably going to be done virtually. The days of sitting for 4 hours at a closing are probably over. It's probably going to be more of a virtual process. So technology is here to stay, and we have all been forced to kind of it, whether we like it or not. You mentioned that people are going to be looking for new amenities in their homes. Maybe a home office will be desirable. I can certainly see the benefit of that. You can't necessarily work in an open space if there aren't enough walls or privacy. You need an office. You mentioned people wanting home gyms. Makes perfect sense. Or maybe having a backyard for their children. That's obvious if this pandemic is here to stay and maybe might even come back. I've noticed in my own community, in my own Facebook mommy groups, people are talking about gardening, and there's a few moms in my community that are really great at it, and I have to be so envious of that because I have the opposite of a green thumb. But even I want to try a garden again, and I've tried before and failed, so I'm going to try again when the weather gets warmer. But that makes sense that people are going to be looking for those things. You mentioned there's going to be a lot of shifts in people leaving the cities and moving into the suburbs, and that is going to affect the local Long Island real estate market in a very positive way. That's great news, and it makes perfect sense. And I agree with you. I really think we are going to see that shift. I remember reading somewhere that after the Spanish flu 100 years ago, people left the cities and moved into the suburbs for that exact reason, because of the spread of disease and even tuberculosis and other contagious diseases. The move to the suburbs really happened because people wanted a healthier place, and that makes a lot of sense. Certainly makes me feel optimistic. And you mentioned that people are making decisions because they're facing their mortality. They are seeing that life is short, and they are being a little bit more decisive in moving forward with buying their dream house or moving or maybe even renovating their homes. I mean, these are things we probably are going to see in the next 6 months. Big decisions like that will really shift things, move money around. Money in motion always helps the economy, and hopefully that is going to be a good thing. And your final thing is something that I really connect to, and that's hope. You ended by saying that there's a lot of reasons to be hopeful. We all need to stay connected with each other and maintain that hopeful perspective. And that is something that I connect to. And I know a lot of my clients really, once they move over to the other side and move forward with their lives, there really is a lot to be hopeful about. And certainly in a pandemic, we all want this to be over. And one day it will end. It'll be a new way of life, very likely. And hopefully some positive things will come from that too. I want to just give Carla another few minutes to speak about, because I'm intrigued by what you said about breakfast and diet and nutrition, and I didn't give you really enough time to really talk about that. So if you can just take 2 minutes, Carla, tell us what you think is a great diet, so that we can all be inspired by that.
Well, thank you for those minutes extra. We have to think about something again. Our digestive system is where the immune system is based, right? So if we are nourish our body with the right food, the fuel that we need, we are going to create better thinking process, because the food is related to how you're creating, how you're going to create things, for example. So one of the things that I will suggest always is, first of all, listen to your body. When you listen to your body, you're going to understand the mechanisms and the rhythms that you need to be able to provide that nutrients that you need. It's not about only the macronutrients, but as well the micro, right? The things that we don't see, but they are fundamental. So, and where are those micronutrients and enzymes that we need, and good probiotics and all that? So it's in the raw food. So if you're going to go and shopping, I know that we are, we are not in the 100% that we'll find in our grocery stores, but at least that your plate will be full of color. And when your plate is full of color, you're going to have inside of yourself the vibration of those nutrients that are going to nourish the cells in a proper way. And if the cells are absolutely nourished with those incredible chemical compounds, right, that we need to perform better, is when we're going to be absolutely healthier. So this is one thing. At least have in between 3 and 5 rhythms of food. For sure, to start with raw food, with the smoothies and all that, because raw means alive food, right? And if it's alive food, your cells are going to be alive. And this is going to give us hope as well to perform better, to think better, and even to feel better as well. And for sure, if you can avoid the white poisons that I call them, like white sugar, processed food, all these are dead food that is going to collapse our liver and our kidneys. And if you're translated to the emotional part, and this is one of the things that I work a lot is, for example, emotions and fear, right? Fear, anger. Fear is in the kidneys. Is trapped in the kidneys. The liver is the process of the anger in the emotional level. So as well, if you nourish with food that is going to give the substance and the micronutrients that we need, those organs, it's going to tap as well in the emotional part that maybe is trapped into it, right?
Carla, we have a question from one of the people listening on Zoom. Can you tell us a little bit about the warm water with lemon? What is the actual reason to drink that? I've heard that a lot of places, and there are times when I get into that habit and then I always fall off the habit. Just tell us the specific purpose.
All right. So first of all, water, right? We have 75% of water in our body, and most of the organs and glands are made with water. The percentage are very high. So when we are nourished in the first hours of the day with water and lemon, is because first of all, we are fasting during a long time at night. So we are nourishing with water to flush all the toxins from our body through that. And we put lemon because the lemon, even if it's a citric, is alkaline. So as I said, when we have lemon inside us, we alkaline our body and we reduce the acidic process. So when we reduce acidic, we're going to reduce tension, we're going to reduce stress levels, and our organs and cells are going to perform better.
That's wonderful. Thank you. So while you were speaking, I'm going to give it back to Dalia for 2 minutes. Dalia, I've noticed, certainly in my household, we are doing a lot more cooking than ever before. Now I'm looking for silver linings here. We are spending much more time eating together than ever before. Luckily, my husband's a great cook, and my children all love to cook. And Carla, we are buying more fruits and vegetables. We are eating probably more healthy than ever before, and we don't do a lot of takeout in our house. The only thing I've ordered is some sushi. The rest of it is really our own cooking, and I'm very happy that we've developed that habit. So I wanted to ask you, Dalia, what do you think a dream kitchen? Really thinking forward, because all of us really are going to be spending more time in the kitchen probably if we're home more. What do you think a dream kitchen has? And give us a little bit of a wish list. if we don't have it, maybe what should we maybe thinking of getting?
The first and the most important thing is to have your stovetop, your cooktop, to be efficient as far as flames go. There are people who believe in having only high-end names for these kind of cooktops.
Yeah, I know those people.
You know, it doesn't matter. It will do the function regardless of that name on it. Believe it or not, in many of the homes that we live in, we already have that dream kitchen, but we just haven't been taking advantage of it because we haven't been looking into our kitchen to have that little island where you could stand around it with your children, chop up the vegetable and cook together, to have that little space to sit down, the breakfast area, which will bring in the coziness of cooking the food on one side and right away putting on the table and enjoying it. Those things a lot of us are blessed with, and a lot of us have had it for a long time. We haven't been taking a look at it. And Carla, I want to thank you for the choices of food that you are offering us. I'm a cancer survivor. Being alkaline and getting your body alkaline so that you hold off the diseases, it's wonderful. And I'm so glad that you're sharing it with people. And I believe in that 200%. Now that we all have time, and now that we are spending more time cooking at home, just like you said, Jackie, and we are doing the same thing with my children, so I'm extremely grateful to that. Just pay attention how much space you have to bond with your kids more than before. Bake with them. Do something that will bring you all together. So, yeah.
But the question I have is, Dalia, who does the cleanup? Because that's a big issue in my house. To me, I mean, I have to have a clean house. Maybe my sister accuses me of being a little OCD, and I probably am. And I have to do all the cleanup, So anyway, that goes back to the conflict story. There has to be, in my house, if you do the cooking, somebody else does the cleaning. So I think that's fair. When I cook, I want somebody else to help clean.
Yes, it is.
I think
so I want to now. I think now, I want to say thank you to both of you. I think you are really amazing. And I'm so glad we had this opportunity to really speak to one another. I learned a tremendous amount. There's lots of people that are watching on Facebook that have commented, and people that are on Zoom. And I'm grateful to all of you. And I know a lot of people will be watching after this live video and will connect with us. And so I want to ask all of you, if you liked what you saw today, please like Dalia's page on Facebook, like Carla's page on Facebook, and join my Facebook group, the Family Support Group, or like my firm's page. And that's where you're going to hear and get notices of future topics that might be interesting to you, or be different things that you can learn to pass on to your network. I am going to be having more of these events, and my law firm is having many Zoom events over the next few months, over through the summer, because let's face it, we're going to be sitting right here on our phones and watching. There really is going to be limited opportunities to go out and network. I want to reach out to any financial professionals, mental health professionals, legal professionals that might want to be featured on a chat and chill. It'll probably be 3 of us, men and women, that have some advice to share. Please hit me up, let me know. And I want to again remind all of you that next week we have Isabel Hakim, who is a really well-regarded mental health professional dealing with parents and children. She will be with me next week on Wednesday, along with Ronit from Women and Wealth Solutions. She's going to be talking about financial issues that all of us can benefit from. So we're going to talk a little bit more about money. And that's it for now. It's almost 12 o'clock. Thank you again to my dear friends, Carla and Dalia. And I hope everyone else listening today has a great day. Stay healthy and sane and safe until we see you again next time.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks, ladies. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.